Every July, it's the same story. Your beautiful green lawn from spring starts looking a little sad, and you blame the relentless sun and scorching heat. You start watering more, you worry more, but the brown patches just seem to keep spreading. But what if I told you that one of the biggest reasons lawns struggle in July isn't just the sun? It's not always a lack of water, and it's not some rare disease. It's a simple, devastating mistake you're probably making every single week with your lawn mower. And in this video, I'm not only going to show you what that mistake is, but I'm also going to cover the other common errors that stress your lawn out and how to fix them to get your green lawn back fast. Before we get to the main event, let's talk about the mistakes that weaken your lawn and set it up for failure. First up is something we all do: watering. But a lot of us are accidentally doing it in a way that does more harm than good. You see a brown patch, you assume it's thirsty, and you crank up the sprinklers. Maybe you water for 15 minutes every single day, thinking you're helping, but you could be making things much, much worse. This kind of daily, shallow watering is a classic summer lawn care mistake. Here's why. Shallow watering encourages shallow, weak roots. The grass has no reason to dig deep for water when it gets a daily sip right at the surface. Then, when the brutal July and August heat arrives and bakes the top layer of soil, your lawn is in trouble. Its wimpy surface-level roots can't access the moisture that's still available deeper down. The roots essentially cook. On top of that, watering too often, especially in the evening, can create a constantly damp environment that many types of fungus and lawn diseases love. While not a guarantee for problems, it certainly increases the risk by keeping the grass blades wet all night. So what's the solution? It's called deep and infrequent watering. Instead of a little bit every day, the goal is to water just 1 or 2 times a week, but for a much longer time. You want to apply about 1 inch of water per week, including any rain. This forces the roots to grow deeper into the soil to find that moisture, building a more resilient, drought-tolerant lawn. A great way to measure this is to place an empty tuna can on the lawn while your sprinkler is running. When it's full, you've applied about an inch of water. The best time to water is in the early morning, before 10 a.m., to reduce evaporation and allow the grass to dry during the day. The second mistake that helps ruin a summer lawn is fertilizing at the wrong time with the wrong stuff. In spring, you fed your lawn, and it exploded with lush, green growth. It's tempting to think that another dose of fertilizer in July will bring back that vibrant color. For many lawns, this is a huge mistake. This is where it's critical to know what kind of grass you have. For cool season grasses like Kentucky bluegrass, fescue, and ryegrass, which are common in many parts of the country, you should avoid high nitrogen fertilizers in the summer. These grasses naturally slow down in the heat. Pushing them to grow with a heavy dose of nitrogen is like making an exhausted marathon runner sprint. It forces out rapid, weak leaf growth that the already stressed plant can't sustain, making it vulnerable. Applying it to dry, stressed grass also risks burning the blades, leaving yellow or brown patches. For these grasses, the best time to fertilize is in the spring, and most importantly, the fall. However, for warm season grasses like Bermuda, zoysia, and St. Augustine, summer is their peak growing season. They often benefit from fertilization during this time. Even then, it's best to use a slow-release fertilizer and never apply it during the peak heat of the day or when the lawn is drought-stressed. We're about to get to the number one mistake that contributes to more sad-looking lawns in July than anything else. If you're finding this advice helpful and you want to finally win the war against your summer lawn, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It's free and it helps me create more content just like this to help you get the best lawn on the block. Okay, let's get to the big one. All right, here it is. One of the single biggest, most destructive mistakes you can make in the summer. It's not just the sun, it's not just disease, it's not even your watering schedule, although all those things matter. A top reason many lawns struggle and decline in July is because you are cutting your grass too short. That's it. It's that simple, and it's that destructive. This is often called scalping, and it's a primary contributor to turf's failing in the summer. You might think a short, tight cut looks neat and clean like a golf course, but most home lawns aren't meant to be treated like a putting green, and cutting it that low in the summer is a death sentence. Here's what's actually happening. The grass blade is where the plant makes its food through photosynthesis. When you cut it too short, you are drastically reducing its ability to produce the energy it needs to survive. This forces the plant to use its precious energy reserves to regrow leaves instead of doing the most important thing it needs to do in summer, supporting and growing deep roots. But the damage doesn't stop there. Longer grass blades provide critical shade for the soil. This shade keeps the soil cooler, reduces water evaporation, and helps prevent weed seeds from getting the sunlight they need to sprout. When you scalp the lawn, you expose the soil directly to the brutal baking sun. The soil temperature skyrockets, moisture disappears in a flash, and the shallow roots of the weakened grass plant can literally bake. Suddenly, your lawn is incredibly vulnerable. So, how do we fix this? The solution is beautifully simple. Raise your mower deck. For most cool season grasses like fescue and Kentucky bluegrass, the ideal mowing height during the summer is between 3 and 4 inches. Yes, that high. It might look a little less tidy at first than you're used to, but a taller lawn is a stronger, healthier, more resilient lawn. That height provides maximum shade for the soil and helps the plant maintain a healthy root system. For warm season grasses like Bermuda and Zoysia, you can typically go a bit lower, often in the 2 to 2.5-inch range. But the principle is the same: avoid scalping. The second part of the solution is a key guideline of lawn care: the 1/3 rule. Never remove more than 1/3 of the grass blade in a single mowing. For example, if your goal is to maintain your lawn at 3 inches, you should mow it when it reaches about 4.5 inches. Cutting off more than 1/3 at a time sends the plant into shock, severely stressing it, which is the last thing you want in the summer heat. This might mean you have to mow a little more frequently during peak growing seasons, but the health of your lawn will thank you. Also, make sure your mower blades are sharp. Dull blades don't cut the grass, they tear and shred it, leaving ragged wounds that make the grass look bad and increase its vulnerability to stress and disease. So let's recap. While the July sun is a major source of stress, it's often the mistakes we make in our own yards that turn a period of stress into a disaster. First, rethink daily watering. Water deeply and infrequently, about once or twice a week, depending on your lawn's needs, to encourage deep, strong roots. Second, be smart about fertilizer. Let cool season grass rest during the hottest months, saving the main feeding for spring and fall. If you have warm season grass, you can feed it, but do so carefully. And most importantly, raise your mower blade. Mowing your lawn too short is one of the most destructive things you can do to it in the summer. For many common lawns, aiming for a height of at least 3 inches and never cutting off more than 1/3 of the blade at a time is a game changer. A taller lawn shades the soil, conserves moisture, and builds the deep roots it needs to not just survive the summer, but thrive. It's these simple changes that separate the brown, struggling lawns from the lush, green ones every July. Stop blaming only the sun and start looking at your lawn care habits. I hope this guide helps you finally achieve the summer lawn of your dreams. If you want to learn even more about fixing those brown spots, check out this next video on how to repair your lawn and get it looking brand new. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.